Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Welcome, everyone. This is Steve Meisinger, your host for today's ISE webinar. Today we have Toni Hansen with us. Toni's been with us numerous times. Toni will be talking about longer-term strategy for managing currency moves. And I think it'll be a great presentation. As you know, the spot market, of course, has seen some big moves over the last 18 months. It's been pretty quiet over the last couple of months, but sometimes the best trades happen, or right before that proverbial big storm, you have calm, and that's what we have right now. So I'm glad you're all here today, so you can learn more about managing currency moves with Toni Hansen. So I want to introduce Toni Hansen. Toni, thanks for joining us here at the ISE. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me back. Like Steve mentioned, I'm going to talk about some strategies for managing currency moves. Basically, what I'm going to do then is focus upon how to set targets as well as determine when something needs to be bailed on a little bit earlier than you might have expected, or when you might have to hold something a little bit longer than you had previously anticipated in order to get some larger target levels. So basically, we're going to be focusing upon not so much the entry strategy for position, but rather how to manage a trade once you're already in it.
Wow, that sounds very, very interesting. Managing trades is so important. So let me just get through the disclaimer, Toni, and then the floor will be yours. So I just want to remind everyone that any of these recommendations or that Toni goes through, of course, they are not recommendations. They are really just examples. And taxes, margin, and commission are not included. So Toni's not actually recommending any sort of position, but what she is doing is using examples, and hopefully we're all learning from this, and you can find your appropriate strategy. And Toni has a similar disclaimer, same sort of thing, just basically saying that not giving any advice today, but using any of the examples are just examples themselves. At the IC, we have many, many pairs. In fact, we just added 3 new ones. And next week, we have, this is breaking news, we are going to start trading some of the traditional currency pairs in the options. When I say traditional, we will be trading the euro dollar. We're going to be trading pound dollar, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. This is very exciting. Many of you have been asking for this. So that should start trading early next week. But the ISE, we have 9 right now. I believe it's 9. And more to come. But all you need to do is have an options account. And these options are cash settled, European style, and they can be traded as spreads. And come and check out our new website, www.fxoptions.com. Some great information there also. Without further ado, I want to turn the presenter ball over to Toni. Toni, take it away. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get going here. I know a lot of you are going to have a lot of questions throughout the presentation, but I'm going to save all of the questions until the end of the session, and then I'll take a little bit of time to answer as many as I can possibly get to within the hour. As I mentioned earlier, what I'm going to be focusing upon is setting targets and managing open positions. Now, when you're trading options, as all of you guys know, it's imperative not only to have a feel for the direction of the underlying security that you're trading, in this case, the underlying currency pair, it's also necessary to be able to accurately assess the length of time it's going to take for prices to hit certain target levels or objective levels. Traders are always looking for something new and or improved that's going to help them time the markets. Although in and of themselves, price is not considered an indicator, when you learn how to read price action, and just pure price action, you're left with the ultimate indication of where prices are most likely to head. Now, this seems a little bit crazy for some of you that are used to using indicators, things like overbought, oversold indicators, that type of thing. But really, when I'm trading, I'm not using a lot for additional things to help time the market other than price and volume action itself. One of the things that you can look at when you're looking at price action is the pace of current moves within a security. And pace is very simply just the measurement of momentum of not only the trend in the security as compared to basically previous price action, but also the most recent move on a given time frame. So you're looking at not only previous action, but also what's going on right now. Here's just an example of a template that shows pace action. And what you have here is a chart that I've used for a number of years when I've taught this. And this concept of pace is really quite simple. All you're looking at is, let's say we have a slower move or slower correction in the security. In this case, we have it labeled A. Let me grab the highlighter here. And what you can see is that the momentum or pace of that move is slower compared to the previous upside move. Now, you really don't have a lot to compare it to just using these two specific moves. For example, if your chart is at certain dimensions, something might seem to be a faster paced move than you might normally be accustomed to looking at. But in reality, when you're looking at it in terms of how the prices have compared to previous price action on that security, it might not seem to matter or seem to be quite as much of a slower paced move or as much of a faster paced move as it might already appear. This is something where a lot of people ask me, if you're looking at pace or momentum, can't you just measure the angles of a move, such as this angle here or this angle here? And no, you can't, because if I extend this chart and squish it up so that it's wider as compared to taller, then the moves are going to be different angles. This is going to be a wider move here because my chart is splayed out over a longer space on my scan or on my screen. So you can't really use angles when you're looking at momentum. But you can look at what the previous action was heading into that angle. And is this move an average move compared to those previous moves? Is it a more rapid move or is it a more gradual move? When you have a more gradual move, the most common reaction coming out of that is a rapider follow-through. So if you have a slower pullback or slower correction compared to average back and forth moves in a security, then the chances are that the breakout coming from that channel is going to be stronger than average. So you can get really rapid follow-through. When you're looking at strategies and identifying target levels, you're going to have the best likelihood for a really strong follow-through if you have something that is coming out of a slower paced move. It doesn't have to be necessarily a corrective move in a larger trend such as an uptrend. It could be something that is a reversal pattern as well. I have too many things on here. Here we go. Okay. So this could be a correction in an uptrend where you have a slower paced move or a slower pullback, but it also could be a change in momentum at a higher low of a trend move that can help get you in on a reversal pattern as well as a continuation pattern. In this case, you can see that the overall momentum is beginning to shift because it has a stronger pullback in C than it did in A, and then slower upside in D than it did in B. So the overall pace of this move is now starting to slow compared to that initial rally here with the larger trend.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.